Thank you so much for joining me on 98%.
No doubt.
So happy to have you here. We literally just met today. Earon played football.
Yeah, played college football, UTSA. Go Runners.
So what's really interesting about your story, and we're gonna backtrack a little bit, but what's really interesting is that Earon was part of the starter football program at UTSA. So this was the first year that they even had a football team.
Right.
So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. But we're gonna backtrack to your high school days. Yeah.
This is my story. I kept getting hurt. My 9th grade year, I didn't even play because I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Tore my elbow up. I broke my elbow actually.
Yikes.
Yeah, I broke my elbow. Throwing the football, nobody even touched me. So this is going into my senior year. I want to say my biggest offers at that point was probably like, I had like U of H, Utah. We were going back and forth with a couple of Tulsa. That's what it was. And I was going back and forth with them. And I'm like, man, yeah, I'm finna do my thing. Then I have a child.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I had a child. Well, I didn't have the child, obviously, but yeah. Had a baby girl, senior year, and like that happened to me, and I'm just like, man, my life is over. I don't know what to do. I got this child. I was not trying to have a child. Obviously, I love my daughter, but that wasn't the goal. Going into that situation to have a kid. That's definitely unplanned. So I didn't know what to do. I was so overwhelmed. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. I still was balling. I want to say first couple of games, and I started settling in, and then I hurt my shoulder. So then I tore my labrum, so I'm out for the season. Like all my offers are taken away. All my offers are taken away. I had that, and then right at the end of when people start reaching out to me for colleges, UTSA reached out to me, and I'm like, UTSA, like, do they even have a team? what is a UTSA?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a school up the street, like really they have teams? They started up their team. And we had our coach Larry Coker. So he coached at University of Miami and won the championship there. So when he went there, I'm like, okay, maybe they are on to something. And then I just had a child. So like staying in San Antonio would be like, it kind of would be the perfect thing for me. I actually made the decision to go to UTSA because of that, and two of my teammates. We had a pretty good high school team. Two of my teammates, Malcolm, Willie, we were talking about going to UTSA together. We're like, okay, we finna just, go do our thing. And there's a lot of people around the city who decided to go to UTSA instead of other colleges because, it'll start a program. We're gonna get to play multiple years. We're gonna actually get stats. And then Coach Coker, he got, a national championship. Like, not many coaches you go to, they're going to have a national championship. So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
And then, so that's why I decided to go to UTSA.
So what was it like being a part of a starter program?
Man, it's everything that you would think it would be, being a starter program. Like, everything it's not, how do I say it? It's not any... We had to get it out the mud. That's really we're getting practice jerseys from the high school across the deal. Brandeis High School. We use the high school stadium. Texas high school stadium is not small, but still, we're using their stadium, Northside Stadium in San Antonio to practice. So we don't even have anything on campus at that point. We having to drive from the dorms. I don't have a car either, so I'm hopping in the car with whoever I see at breakfast. We're headed to the stadium. We get dressed there. Donated helmets, donated. We looked okay, but everything was donated to us. Weight room was small compared to other schools. We really was getting it out the mud, so it was a lot of stuff that we did not have. I would say that it kind of affected me a little bit, just because we didn't have the resources, not just me, the team, that we'd be talking to other buddies we knew from other colleges. They're like, yeah, bro, we got this, meal plan like this.
Yeah, we got the training station, we got the body bag checker,
we ain't have we had trainers, but we ain't have we sharing with a lot. I know at bigger colleges you don't really the football team just specifically has stuff on their own from everybody. At that time, we didn't have it.
And it's crazy, like hearing this part of, you know, being at a starter program. I can imagine being part of like a starter track team, and like I'm coming with the clothes on my back to practice.
What?
Meanwhile, like when my first year at UCLA, they handed us I still have beef. 2 shirts, 2 shorts. How am I supposed to use 2 shirts and 2 shorts for a 4-day week for practice? But I can't even imagine like being at a starter program and there people are donating helmets and pads and all of that for y'all.
Yeah.
And it could definitely be just mind-boggling a bit.
For sure. Definitely jealous on the gear.
Yeah.
That we didn't have. I had like the same pair of. I was proud of mine though. We had the suit, the sweatsuit, and then we had a shirt, and then we had some shorts. I'm at that time I was like 6'4", 180. So nothing, you know, any of the issued gear is not fitting me. Like it all looks bad on me. It's baggy. I'm like, man, I gotta cut some of these up. Like actually, I think these are some old UTSA sweats, and I just cut them. But yeah, like we didn't have that much. So like anything we got, we appreciated it. But
or did you ever feel like you wanted to transfer? I know that having your daughter at the time, like you wanted to stay close, but did you feel that urge, or did you ever get close to transferring somewhere else?
Plenty of times. And I would say that because you would hear what your homeboy who goes to Texas, you hear what they have, and you're like, especially when it was like the first year, because the first year we redshirted. Like we just practice. That's it. So we still watching cats on TV. Like your homeboy, like okay, like man, they playing right now. Like dang. And then so that first year was so tough. Like I think I would say at least half of us thought about it or was having a conversation about like, man, I don't know, like we don't really have the things that everybody else has. Like how do we get better? Yeah. So that was definitely something on my mind. And then on top of that, like, it was a lot of competition. It was a lot of competition. We had some pretty good receivers. So like you would just think like, dang, like we don't have the tools. Well, my thoughts was we don't have the tools necessary to get better. And I know my biggest issue was being small. And I'm seeing like, you know, my homeboys go to another school, they come back yoked. I'm like, dang, like I'm still the same size. Yeah. Like I'm just, you know, getting stronger because I'm older.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back a bit. Prior to this, we had talked a little bit about how you were doing in high school versus your college schoolwork. How was that for you?
So I think my surroundings had a big factor into that. I actually lived in North Carolina all the way up until my 9th grade year. So in North Carolina, like it's totally different than where I was in San Antonio. North Carolina, you know, it just wasn't hood. That's I'll keep it simple and say that. Like so when I moved to Texas, Eastside San Antonio, it was just a culture shock for me at least. Sure, yeah. And up until then, I had always made pretty good grades. You know, when I actually tried. And when I actually got to San Antonio for the first time, it was such a culture shock for me that I felt like a square. Like I really felt like, man, like these dudes is really built different. You know, I'm nervous, I'm timid to be around them. And I'm like, okay. And I think that's kind of what pushed me into being like more into school. I know that's like, it's kind of, I was scared. Yeah. So I was back then, and I don't know. I just started doing pretty good at school. I started focusing more, trying to stay out of the way of everything else, and I made pretty good grades. I would say probably up until senior year of high school. At that point, I noticed that I'd be able to start getting away with more things. So I took advantage of that. And then I kind of like, I would be skipping class, and then they're like, oh, okay, you know, it's okay, you know. You just make sure you're good for Friday night. Like, oh. I would be
you know, because you love football players, so they were lenient.
Yeah. And, you know, like, okay, so I can, then I'll be with my brother or my cousin, and we'll be moving around on campus. we used to do some crazy stuff. And they'll catch us in the hallway, like, hey, you all right? Yep, I'm good. And then,
wow, the football effect.
Yeah, no, that's real. The football effect. Yeah.
So what was the difference between handling school in high school versus college? Seeing as that, like, you guys are at a starter program. I know football is like, it's football first and, school second.
They don't say that. Yeah, they don't say that.
Student, athlete, student. So what was college like for you especially when you were in the starter program? Because that's very different.
I would say on campus, at first, it was talked about, so it was kind of a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big thing, but people didn't take us serious at the same time because it was a start. They're like, oh man, y'all ball, but y'all play at UTSA, like come on. But it was a big thing, so I guess you could say it was kind of a mixed crowd. And I think that affected us because we were always trying to prove ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have that in class, and then you'll also have the typical stuff where it'd be oh, the ladies, you play football? Yeah, I do. Okay, I heard that it's a team. Yeah. Oh, if you need anything in this class, just let me know.
The football effect.
Yes, ma'am. I got you. I'm glad I got my degree now. They can't take that away. But man, I probably went to about 5 classes my entire freshman year.
Goodness.
Out of I had 5 classes and I went there multiple times. I attended class 5 times. Really 5 times. I got I don't know if y'all had it the clickers.
Yeah. Oh.
What?
The bane of all of our existence.
Yeah. We had the clickers, so I figured out when I first went in there, I'm like, man, this is crazy. I could have this clicker and do this and pay attention. And I figured out, man, I really don't have to be here.
Okay. Aren't clickers how they used to take attendance though?
Yeah, you just give your clicker to somebody else.
There you go. The secret's out, you guys.
Give your clicker to somebody else, and I'm like, what? I'm telling you, I only went to class 5 times freshman year. Sophomore year, I'm trying to figure out how to get into those same classes, with the clickers.
So what did you end up graduating with?
No, that's actually a good story. That's actually a good story. I graduated with my degree in sociology.
Okay, I did too. Talk to me about it.
The thing is, I did not want to get a degree in sociology.
Neither did I.
But just like I had told you, I was not going to classes. I did not know what classes I was in.
Oh my goodness.
It got to probably junior year, and I'm just strictly focused on football. I'm like, man, I need to get better. I'm trying to, I'm trying to ball. I'm trying to make sure I get these stats. I'm trying to make sure, I get, whatever it takes for me to be better. So, in only football. So, school did not matter to me at all, which is pretty bad. I actually regret that. I wish I could go back and get a degree in engineering, something specific. But I just didn't take it seriously. All I wanted to do was play football. I got called into the office with our advisor, because we had a specific advisor, and they were like, hey, Earon, we have some concern here because we don't have enough credits to your degree. And my degree was supposed to be kinesiology, but I was in sociology classes the whole time. But I wasn't going to class, so I didn't know.
You didn't even know what your schedule was like.
Oh, I knew what my schedule was like. I wasn't going to.
You didn't know what classes you were taking.
I did not. It was...
here's my clicker, here's my Scantron, here's a degree in sociology.
Right. They're like, I was so mad that day, and it's my fault too. I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe this.
Wait! Who are you mad at?
I'm mad at the advisor. I was like, man, I can't believe that I'm gonna have to get a degree in sociology, or if I want kinesiology, I can't play.
Wait, why?
Because you have to have a certain amount of credits towards a degree to be
and
eligible.
You just didn't know what classes you were in to be. So it didn't really dawn on you till junior year, hey, what program am I in or going towards? Yeah,
because the only reason I found out is because I was about to be ineligible.
Wow.
It's so bad.
Wow. And I've been through, I don't know how many quarters I was ineligible. I would be ineligible, then eligible, couldn't run because I was injured, start the cycle all over again.
What?
So I completely understand. Although, and I was pre-med, so I was biology for about 3 years. And then I went to the academic advisor for the biology department, or for the science department. She was like, hey, look, you're going to have to find something else. Another degree, actually just not sciences anymore because your grades aren't that great. Like I said, like I was ineligible a lot. I was not hitting.
Those were tough classes.
I didn't have no 2.0s. GPA, I was struggling. I'm not going to lie. So for somebody to tell you that, like, you can't reach the degree that you walked in here thinking that you was going to get, and then they're telling you like, hey, look, it's time for you to rethink your life and it's too late for you to even try and get good grades.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. So yeah, I ended up switching to the sociology department, and I was like, wow, you guys are living easy over here. Like,
it's so easy. I was like, man, at first I was like, man, this is whack, but in sociology, like, everything opinionated, you just have to do the work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Okay,
I think you get to the hardest part of learning the methodologies, like all the theories, and then like you start getting into like interesting subjects about like urban architecture, and you just learning about human behavior and like communications, and it's all so interesting.
Like, why do you think this about this? Why do you think that about that? You just write 4 pages about it.
Exactly, and then apply the theories that you learned in your foundational classes, and it's pretty simple, but it was fun.
Yeah, sociology it actually helped me learn a little bit. It was enjoyable.
It's
just not what I wanted, but it
was enjoyable, and I think that's like what made, for me at least, I'm not gonna speak for you, but for me, it made my school experience a lot more enjoyable and more fun. Like, I actually got to enjoy school. I was excited to kind of go to class because I was faking it till I made it. I'm not gonna lie, like, I was in a bunch of science classes, but because practice was during the time of my science classes, I would choose practice over classes. And then I would, have somebody, I had a note taker, so I would just collect my notes and study and all of that. Now that you're done with football, and that life is kind of behind you, what do you know now that you wish you could have told yourself?
100% to take school serious.
Yeah.
That was that, and taking care of my body, not even just weightlifting, taking care of your body, and school, like, I swear, I used to hear people say this all the time, like, man, make sure, you're taking care of those books, make sure you're in the right, like, I swear to you, I did not care one bit about books, reading it, any of that, and I wish if I could go back, and I don't regret anything because I love who I am, but, like, man, oh man, I promise you, I would be studying every day. I'll be making sure I'm in the right classes. like I will be attending those classes. Like, I promise you, I'll be an A student, or trying to be one.
Yeah.
Man, because after school, like, I was still trying to play football. Like, the thing is, like, I'm good, but I wasn't like none of these other cats getting drafted. Like, but I couldn't see that because my mindset was just football. And like, I needed the right circle to tell me, like, look, bro, you good, bro, but you're not like them, bro. So stop, like. And that's 2%
that actually, and it's so small. That percentage is so small.
It sucks because, especially a lot of football players, like, we too prideful to say that because we're just automatically competitive, and then most of the time, like, if you're good enough to be like recruited into a school, like, you have the talent somewhere in there to be able to get to the league or wherever you're trying to go. But, like, at some point, especially with me, at some point you gotta, like, make the decision to, one, like, okay, if I'm not here by this point in my life, I need to move on and do this, or you need to be having the right people around you to tell you, like, look, bro, based off of what you've done, you're not going to be able to, the road is unlikely for you to be able to go to the league, and I didn't have that, so I was still trying.
And it's so important. I think we actually do hear the statistic, probably in high school, that, like, only 2% are going to go professional, right? And so, like, you need to have a backup plan, right? Like, you need to take school seriously. Like, do not just focus on athletics. And I think we all hear that. I think all of us athletes are very prideful and think,
way too proud,
and think that, like, we're actually going to make it. We can make it pro. Doesn't matter what you're telling me. I don't care what you're saying. But I know that if I want to go pro, I will get there.
Yep.
And that was a pitfall for me. And I come from a Nigerian household where like either you're an engineer, lawyer, or a doctor. There's really no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And when it came down to it, and I graduated with a sociology degree, my parents were like, "What are you about to do with that?" It's like I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out. But like my goal was to go to my goal was to go to the Olympics. Like I don't think I ever wanted to run pro, but I wanted to wear USA on my chest and you know and run. So when I couldn't do that and I was getting injury after injury, my junior year, my athletic director called me into his office and was like, "Hey, like you're hurting all the time. Like, so why don't you just medically retire?" And I was like, "Okay, like what does that mean?" "Okay, well, you get to keep your scholarship. The NCAA will replace it. We'll get a full ride and we'll fill somebody in your place. And if you'd like, you could be team manager." And I was like, "So you mean to tell me that like I can go to school for free? Like I can be a regular student and you guys will still pay for my college? Wow, okay, well, I don't even think I'm gonna medically retire because I still want to go pro. I still want to run the Olympics." And so I told him, I was like, "I'm gonna think about it for 2 weeks. If anything, I'm gonna just take some time. I'm gonna take the medical retirement, take some time and rest, and then come back and train again." That's the ego, right? Like your pride. Like, I'll take the medical retirement, but I'm gonna come back. And I took the medical retirement, and I'll tell you, I tried to come back. I wasn't on the team senior year, but I still tried to train. Again, my shins was bothering me. Took time off, and then tried to train again after I graduated. And I was like, wow, what is really like? What is the purpose of life? And that's when I just kind of let it go and moved on. And I wish somebody. I think my parents did their best to support me in whatever I wanted to do. And I think I had coaches that were like, "If you come train under me, even after my medical retirement, like you will get there." But I wish somebody had just been like, "Hey, look, just move on."
That's what I needed so bad. You just get so competitive, and you're taught like when you're playing sports to like, you know, you constantly hear never give up, you know, keep fighting, you know, grind, this, that, and the other. Like at some point, you know, I think it hit me. I was like, I want to say 25, 26, and I'm still working out every day doing football drills. And, you know, at that, like, I had got to that point, and I had stopped going out to camps and tryouts and stuff like that. I was just working out, and I want to say my girlfriend at the time, she was like, "Hey, Earon," because I actually started living with her. We were living together. No, it was kind of me living with her though, because I didn't have a job. I was just grinding every day. But I didn't notice it. I was just, you know, in my mind, I'm like, man, I just want to make it so bad. I want to do somewhere. And I got accepted to play arena football with somewhere in Arizona. And they told me how much they get paid. And I'm just like, man, do I really want to do this? Like, I can work a regular job and not get hurt. And
not put your body under so much stress. Yeah.
And then still not even make it to the league. So I'm thinking like, man, I don't know what to do. And my girlfriend at the time, she was just like, you know, she had pulled me to the side, like, you know, like, this is getting hard for me. You know, we're living together. You don't have a job. You this, that, and the other. Like, you gotta figure something out. And then I made the decision at that point, like, dang, I need to go ahead and get a job. But then at that point, I'm like, I don't have a degree that I want. Like, I'm not really happy with that degree, so I can't get a job in the field that I really want. And then on top of that, I'm 25, 26. I don't have no work experience. So it just made everything. That's why I said, like, the most important thing is school and figuring out what you want to do, having a plan, taking care of that. Because if you don't go to the league and you don't have a plan, you're going to be stuck I was stuck for years.
Wow, yeah.
I just got a pretty good job, like, and I'll be talking to people in there. They've already had 7-8 years of work experience. You know, they're like, okay, well, I don't really like this job, so you know, let me just move around because I done been here and here and here. Like, I ain't even got that. So like, yeah, that school, I ain't know it meant this much. Like, it's really the real deal.
I really appreciate you sharing your story and being transparent, and giving us all like honestly, you've inspired me in ways that, like, school is so important, right? And I would say we almost have similar stories in a sense where we were taking our sport too seriously and letting things slide on the school side of things when school was really what's going to propel us in our professional life. And again, when you want something so bad, when you want to go pro so bad, And even after you graduated, you get in this kind of like stuck place. Like, I think I could still do it. Like, if I just heal up and, you know, and like still persevere and all that. And like, I would say one thing that you should be so proud of yourself is that in the midst of all of that, you persevered.
Oh, yeah.
You stayed motivated. You endured everything that you've gone through. I know it's hard, even having a child in the midst of all of that, right? And then trying to figure out who you are despite the sport, or in the midst of the sport, right? And like, you found a path forward afterwards. So you should definitely be proud of yourself and really take those lessons that you've learned into the future.
No doubt.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you coming on the 98%. This was great, and you're gonna inspire other people's lives and impact other people.
Hopefully I do. School is so important, man. I promise you, nobody would ever say, oh, Earon in school is like a thing. Like, no, like, nobody thinking I'm going to get any kind of degree. Nobody think I'm, you know, this out here with the best job or anything. They would never think that about me. But I'm the one that's telling you, it definitely takes school serious.